everyone, and welcome to my channel if you are new. If you are not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina, and today is probably going to be one of my messiest videos, so that's always fun. As you can tell by the title, you already know what we're about to get into. Just a disclaimer before I start, because I can already feel the anger from fans who are not black and or people of color that just, feel the need to talk over people of color and or black people. If I see comments like that, you will be blocked. Or not even blocked, I will just delete your comment, because I already deal with you guys enough on a daily basis on Twitter. I'm not dealing with you on my YouTube comments. Also, I'm going to try to be as respectful as I can towards the idols and groups I am mentioning. So while I'm doing that, I ask for the same level of respect. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I've been planning on making a video like this for a while now. Like, I was thinking about doing this at the beginning of my YouTube channel, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna save it, or not even save it. I kind of forgot to do it, but then, like, of course, stuff like this happens like almost every other week in K-pop, so I feel like it's time to just clear the air of what I think about this topic of cultural appropriation in K-pop. Great. I have been into K-pop for 5 years, about 5 years, and in the past 5 years I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of not so great things regarding black culture within the K-pop genre. The reason I'm making this video now is because recently I saw a video, I think it was I'm pretty sure it was a TikTok, of a group, a few members of a group doing a filter on TikTok, because of course it's TikTok, doing a filter of blackface on TikTok. It's The Boys. If you guys know who The Boys are, great. If you don't, that's also great. It doesn't really matter. But this group was, not the whole group, but like, I think like 2 or 3 members were doing a blackface filter. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, it's not my first time seeing stuff like this in K-pop. Like I said, I've been into K-pop for like a good long period of time. Enough for me to see things that I wish weren't true or did not happen, but sadly it does. It happens, and now it's my chance to talk about it. Now, regarding this video, I'm only going to be talking about black cultural appropriation happening in the genre. I am aware that K-pop is known for appropriating multiple cultures, but I'm only going to be talking about black culture in this video. So if you came for something else, sorry. Obviously, everyone knows that K-pop is built off of black music and black culture. There's no need in denying that. It's very obvious, with not only just within the music, but the way that some of these K-pop groups handle their concepts being baggy clothes, braids, dreadlocks, what have you. It's very apparent that it is inspired by black culture. And although you could see it as a not so bad thing, because almost everything is taken from black culture, so you could see it as just like, oh, they really love this genre of music and they just really, like, they're inspired by it and they just really want to make something like it. And to be honest, that's not really my problem. Like, I don't have a problem with that at all. They could make whatever kind of music they want to make. But it comes to a point, especially now when K-pop is so big and it's like a phenomenon, like it's known everywhere. And when you just have like Google at your fingertips, it's becoming very hard to, like, you shouldn't have excuses anyway, but it's becoming very hard to put up with the excuses fans are making now for their idols that they stan. It's getting to a point now where I feel the need to just rant. To put out a few like examples of the appropriation, this isn't to target any of the idols that you guys are into, because I know a few of the idols I'm gonna mention are pretty big names, but I feel like it has to be said and shown for everyone to understand. what's not okay about this and why you shouldn't excuse it. Okay, so let's get the first one out of the way. I feel like it's the most obvious one, but it's the best leading example I can have of doing cultural appropriation, but then learning from your mistakes and never doing it again. Let's start with BTS. We have Yoongi, aka Suga, rapper of BTS. You know, when he had his hair dyed orange and you know, braids in the back, that's ugly, but he did it. It was like in their early days of 2013. There was also another time when, you know, RM said the word nigga on a Korean music channel. I think they were performing a black song. I don't really remember. I'll put a clip of it or whatever to like show.
Now what's up in the past? What you gonna do? All they gotta do. This is how we do. You niggas better know. Do you wanna see the light or stand low in the
I feel like BTS is one of the best examples of a group, idol, person, or whatever, learning from their mistakes and never doing it again, because they haven't, well, for the most part, they haven't done anything like that since 2013, 2014 in their early days. Because, you know, back in 2013 when they first debuted, they labeled themselves as a hip-hop group. So that's what they were portraying themselves as, you know, the whole look and vibe of the golden chains, sagging pants, baggy clothes, the hairstyles. They were trying to portray a hip-hop group. So that was what they were going for. And that also included some not very appropriate things involving black culture within their whole style and stuff. But they have learned. One of the more recent things that they did, which is why I said the kind of best example, is J-Hope. If you guys don't know J-Hope, he is also a rapper of BTS. He had braids in his hair for Chicken Noodle Soup, the video that was released with Becky G, the song or whatever. It was released last year, and everyone, especially like black fans, were kind of like in an uproar about it because they were just like, we don't understand why you had to do that hairstyle. And I personally agreed. I mean, I wasn't that mad because at this point I've gotten used to seeing it. It's kind of something I've sadly gotten used to, but I can understand why many fans were angry. I don't think a statement was released regarding that. They're usually pretty good at releasing statements and apologies like head on when they do stuff like this. I don't think a statement was released, but yeah, that's the one thing, I guess. But BTS have been pretty consistent with like making sure that they don't do stuff offensive. That's how it should be. I don't really understand why it's so hard for groups and idols to do this. Of course, you could give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're very sheltered, they don't understand much about other cultures, as if they're not grown adults in their 20s with access to the internet. You could also say that, hey, this is their company forcing them to do it. They really have no choice in what they wear and how they portray themselves and their concepts and la da da da. That's a valid point. I understand that the K-pop industry moves differently than the Western industry. K-pop idols don't have much of a choice in what they do. Not every idol can be like, BTS, for example. BTS is one of the few groups that have actual control of like how they can portray themselves and like their concepts and how they want to look and stuff, because they're like a big name and can do whatever they want. Most idols can't do that. So you'll probably see a lot of them with black hairstyles, or, you know, them talking in Ave. That's pretty apparent. That comes up a lot in K-pop music, of them using Ave in their lyrics. If you don't know what Ave is, it's African American Vernacular English. You know, it's apparent in a lot, like especially like in Western media too, but really everywhere, because, you know, no one wants to be creative and come up with their own stuff. So just go for African American Vernacular English. That's usually the go-to. Another group that I have seen cultural appropriate is G-Idol or Idol. I still don't know how to say their name, but they've cultural appropriated, I think, like twice or three times. Too many times. Way too many times. The most recent one I can think of, because I don't keep up with them, so I don't really, but the most recent one I can think of is the whole ethnic hip thing. If you're into K-pop, you probably know, because this made a whole uproar too of people seeing how their leader, I think her name is Soyeon, she wanted to make African beats and instrumentals in one of their songs for a show or something, I don't remember, and she labeled it as ethnic hip. Basically the dictionary book example of what cultural appropriation is.
나는 개인적으로 그 에에에에에를 우기 목소리로 진짜 아프리카 약간 추장이 막 에에에에에에 이렇게 하는
여기 쓸 수 있겠네 그 창법.
그 신스 있잖아. 뚱뚱뚱뚱뚱뚱뚱뚱뚱뚱 이거를 약간 아프리카의 좀 뭔가 그런 악기들로 바꾸는 거야. 뭔가 똥똥똥똥똥 이러면은 이제 우리 스타일을 좀 살리는 거지. 우리가 기계음을 거의 안 쓰잖아. 그걸 좀 살리고 약간 에스닉 힙.
에스닉 힙.
When I first saw it, I was angry. Still makes me angry, and they haven't apologized. So I just, another example is of G-Dragon. G-Dragon, everyone knows who G-Dragon is. He's one of the most famous K-pop idols of all time. You know, Big Bang, his own solo stuff. He's also like, I think, a fashion ambassador or something like that. You know, G-Dragon, icon, legend, whatever. He's also done blackface multiple times and has never apologized. Then you also have smaller groups like ATEEZ. Hangjung, the leader of ATEEZ, recently for their comeback decided to wear braids. Or not decided. Maybe he was forced to put them on. I don't know. But it was like a hat with braids in it. Speaking of which, whoever's making those, can they please stop? Like, I don't... What's the point? What's the point? Because that wasn't his actual hair. So I was very confused. I was like, why are there single braids coming out of your head that are not the same color as your actual hair? It made me feel uncomfortable. And as a fellow ATEEZ fan, the whole comeback era stressed me out. This is a tangent, but that era totally stressed me out. For all black ATEEZ or whatever, it was a stressful time. The company didn't take that long to issue an apology. Hangjung also issued an apology, I think, like a few days after the company did. So let's hope it doesn't happen again, but also you can never be too sure. With all of these examples I'm listing, do you see a pattern? It's just like a pattern of just ignorance, like straight up ignorance. It's very telling. Like, yes, you can blame the idols. Of course you can blame the idols because most of these idols are grown and they can easily look stuff up to find out what's wrong and what's right. But you also, the fans that are defending them are also the problem. My hair is doing something. I don't know what that's about. You fans that are defending these actions are very annoying. Don't talk over black people or people of color when they see their culture being appropriated. It's not your time to talk. Shut up. The amount of times I see people defend these idols is astounding to me. Like, you aren't in this equation. 2 + 2 does not equal 5. Get out of the equation. You don't have a say in any of this going on. If a black person sees an idol appropriate, then they have the right to be angry and call them out for it. They should be called out. It's not going to ruin their streaming numbers or their comeback or their success. If anything, it's going to make them probably be more successful because they are going to learn from their actions and grow and become better and never have to do it again and be called out. You constantly saying that, oh, we're making them look bad because we feel mad that they're appropriating our culture. You see how that makes no sense? You're giving them leeway to do it over and over again, and that's so annoying. Please stop. You hate to see your babies and your oppas get called out all the time. The only way for them to stop getting called out for the dumb shit that they do is to make sure that you call them out for the dumb shit that they do. And then they will realize that the dumb shit they're doing is dumb and they won't do it again. I'm not one to hold someone's mistakes above their head for years and years. So if an idol or group says that they apologize, like the first time they do something like this or whatever, I will take their apology and I will forgive them for the first time they do it. So again, example, ATEEZ. This is the first time they've done something like this. I will forgive them, especially because it seemed more sincere than other groups in idols that I've seen. So I will forgive them. However, if there are groups that do it over and over again, or idols that do it over and over again, why should I feel the need to stand them? It's not my job to forgive and forget. It's my choice to forgive and forget because I am the victim in this situation. People that are having their culture appropriated are the victims in the situation. So therefore, we have the right to either forgive and forget or to hold it over their heads. And you're just gonna have to respect that. Like, please understand, like, this isn't really about fan wars or trying to hate on your oppas and your nunas. It's not that hard to understand. When an idol does something wrong, you need to call them out for it. It doesn't matter if it's comeback season and they need to win as many awards as possible. It doesn't matter if they didn't know better. You need to call them out. This is the fans' job. And for the idol that is doing this stuff, after they get called out and apologize, or the company apologizes for them or whatever, they need to educate themselves and do better and figure out why what they're doing is wrong and understand why they should not have to do it again. Because don't get me wrong, I understand that like Korean education over there might not be as open as, you know, the Western education. Not even that Western education is that open, because, you know, learning about slavery and like school is like maybe one chapter long and then you skip over it, but you know what I mean. So obviously, like, I can understand where you guys will be coming from with that argument, but also at the grown age that these idols are acting, you would think that they would try to educate themselves. Between the hairstyles and the blackfishing and the blackface and the straight up colorism and racism, I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of sort of really over it. I just don't think it's going to get better. I feel like it's going to keep happening over and over again, because it seems like no matter how many times a group gets called out for doing it, and like all these other idols see the backlash a group is getting, and these companies see the backlash a group is getting, it's not going to stop them from doing the same thing. Although I really enjoy K-pop, I've slowly over years started to like distance myself, because it's the appropriation in it and like the straight up disrespect for Black culture is really just becoming more and more apparent as it gets bigger in the world. Like, as K-pop has grown in the world, I feel like it's like the cultural appropriation hasn't slowed down like it should be. Like, you would think that companies would fact check and like make sure that like they're not offending anyone by putting like braids in the idol's hair, like some artifact in the background of like someone's culture. Like you would think that they would do a background check, but they just don't. And it makes me irritated, because how many times am I gonna, and me and like any other Black person or person of color, how many times we're gonna have to go through this before it just becomes too much? That's how I feel. But yeah, that's about it. Again, no notes for this video. I've started to become lazy with my note taking, but no notes for this video. It's just really just me ranting about everything going on in K-pop regarding racism. If you guys enjoyed this video, thank you. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, here it is. Here's Twitter, because I use it the most. And if you want to interact with me, there it is. However, if you want to use my other ones and follow me on those to be nice, they're going to be linked in the description below. Bye.